The darkness doesn't care what time it is. But you should. When the shadows grow long and the investigation begins, trust the timepiece that's built to keep pace with every moment. Lorayo watches. Combine timeless style with dependable performance, making them the perfect companion, whether you're in the studio, on an investigation, or simply living life on your own terms. The mysteries of the unknown may never be solved, but you'll always know what time it is. Lorayo watches, proud sponsor of the Unholy podcast and the Unholy broadcast.
From haunted houses to cursed artifacts, from whispers in the dark to battles you'll never read in scripture. This is the Unholy podcast, hosted by Owen, author, investigator, and survivor of one of the most harrowing real-life hauntings ever documented. Each week, Doug pulls back the veil between this world and the next, sharing stories that aren't fiction, because he lived them. Prepare yourself. The silence is over.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Unholy podcast. I'm your host, Doug Owen. Tonight, we're joined by Patty Ann, Jordan, and Connor from Whispering Souls Paranormal Investigations. Now, we're going to be discussing paranormal investigations, obviously, evidence, hauntings, haunted locations, team dynamics, unexplained encounters, and mysteries that continue to challenge investigators in the field. Patty Ann, Jordan, Connor, welcome to the Unholy podcast. Let's start by getting to know you. So, Patty Ann, tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you into the paranormal field.
Okay, so I was one of these childs that wasn't very normal to say. I didn't play with Barbie dolls and dolls. I wasn't very girly girl. I liked to go out in the woods, look for aliens, spaceships, and I was very close to my grandparents. And my grandfather worked for General Motors, so he worked turns. When he would work 4 to 12 or midnight, I would stay over at my grandmother's house, and who doesn't like to stay at grandma's house? They spoil you. There was a little girl in her house I used to play with, and of course all the adults thought she was an imaginary friend, which she was not, because one night my grandmother saw her. I knew her name and everything. Of course, I don't remember her name now. I was probably about 6 or 7. And one night my grandmother woke up seeing her walk right across the TV, and it validated that it wasn't an imaginary friend, it was an actual ghost that I was playing with. And ever since that point, I have always been into the unknown. Teenage years, I'd break into buildings that were abandoned and cemeteries, just trying to get some validation of stuff that we couldn't see or hear with our ears. You know, I have my recorder, my flashlight, that's all I had at the time, and things would just happen, and it was unexplainable. And the more things happened, that was my high. I was addicted to it. Of course, I never got caught, because if I got caught, I wouldn't be here. My dad would have killed me. And my interest from there just grew, and then the TV shows came on with all these ghost programs, and, you know, a lot of people were getting into it. And at the time, the guy that I was with, we started going to different events that teams had. The one team asked us to join. I became a co-owner. To make a long story short with that, he just didn't want to go. My partner didn't seem like he wanted to go on. So I decided to pull away from that company and start my own company. And that was back in 2022. And that's when Whispering Souls became. And I have a wonderful, great team. And what we do is we hold events for the public at haunted locations. We are an actual business, so some of these locations, normal people, like normal just friends, teams, stuff like that, can't go in there. You need a team like us that is exclusive for this location to get in there to investigate. So the public comes in, they investigate with us. It's a little bit of a happy medium. we have a lot of people that have their own gear. They know what they're doing. We let them go do their own thing. We don't shadow them. We don't help them along. It's not guided for them. Now, we have people that love the paranormal, but they have no clue what they're doing, and they need our assistance. And we have all that equipment. We show them the proper way of investigating, the proper way of using the equipment, and so forth. And we make friends along the way. We have a good time. We meet a lot of interesting people.
Nice. That's fantastic. It sounds like you're really, really active.
Yes.
Well,
we have a...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Not at all. I was going to move to Jordan. Jordan, what first sparked your interest in the paranormal?
Yeah, great question. So we found a common theme among ourselves and our team and people that we investigate with, that we always say, so I was a weird kid, and and that seems to ring true, or at least what we see as being a weird kid. Growing up, I was really shy. I was really obsessed with skulls and just like weird things, like digging in the dirt and just getting into abnormal things. And as I started to get older too, I started to really gravitate toward things that other people were afraid of, or that other people thought were weird. I hated fitting in. So I was always looking at ways to not fit in. And that led me to, at a very young age, watching horror movies and playing with Ouija boards. People are so afraid of Ouija boards, and I just love them. And that led into, wanting to explore abandoned buildings and hoping to look for ghosts. Now, when I was younger, of course, I didn't know what I was doing. My friends and I, we were just trying to have fun and scare ourselves. But I always had that interest. And when I was younger too, I had a paranormal experience. At the time, I didn't really fully understand what was going on, but my uncle lived in a haunted place, and I was there once, and all of a sudden everything on his dresser just flew off the dresser and hit the wall, and things on his shelves on the wall started falling off, and I was like, what's going on here? This is so cool. But I was like, I didn't really connect all of the dots until I became an adult. And Patty here, she actually used to work for a different investigation company, and I found them, and I was like, whoa, I can actually go on actual paranormal investigations, not just, go in the Reddit threads and look for spooky places and hope I'd find something. I actually started going on those investigations, and once I did that, I got to know Patty. She taught me a lot, and eventually when she started her own group, she asked me to join, and it's been so fun ever since. It's been probably a year and a half now that I've been on Patty's team, and we've had so many investigations, and I'm really fulfilling that weird child in me that just wanted some spooky experiences, and really to learn more about the whole paranormal world and that realm as well. It's fun, but it's really interesting. It really scratches that itch of curiosity I've always had, and wanting to have new experiences. Like Patty said, it's addicting. Once you see something paranormal happening, you're like, I need more, and you get that adrenaline. So here we are now, a weird kid turned a weird adult, but I have better avenues now for these weird things.
All right, no, that's fantastic. That's amazing explanation, and it's so common. There's similar stories out there, but yeah. All right, Connor, what drew you into investigating the unexplained?
Yeah, so like these two, weird kid growing up. But it wasn't really until I was maybe like 13, 14 that I started getting into more of the horror movies and spooky things like that. And what really did it for me, I was actually, a friend of mine's grandmother had passed away in his house around the Christmas time. So to comfort him, I stayed over for the night. And I remember waking up at like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and his door was wide open, silhouette of a person standing in the doorway, and all of a sudden it was gone. And I just remember being, one, terrified in that moment, but also wanting to see it again, wanting to see more. And like Jordan stated, I wasn't aware that you could like pay for experiences to go into these places. And Jordan and I are actually married, so she was the one that introduced it all to me as far as investigations, and just been really chasing that ever since, man.
That's fantastic. So, Connor, what attracted you to paranormal investigation as a team versus working alone?
Yeah, so whenever we did our first ghost hunt with Patty's old team, it really opened my eyes up to just how in-depth the paranormal and investigation field is. I like the fact that it's a bunch of like-minded individuals that are the same goal. Like, we want to find that evidence, we want to chase that high, we want that validation of that what we're seeing is real. And it's also the aspect of being able to work with a group of people with various tools. Like, no one person might have, like Patty has a DR60 camera that we don't have, or we might have a piece of equipment that somebody else doesn't have, and it's really, I don't know, it's opened the door to a lot more. I really like the group atmosphere when we take guests through. I by no means am an expert in the field, but I like to show what I know and try to have similar situations or experiences for our guests and make sure that they leave feeling like they've gone through something or experienced something or just had a good time in general.
Nice. So, Patty, when conducting an investigation, does each member have a specific role to play?
When you say member, like the team members, our guests that come on?
Sure, any and all of the above. So let's start with team members.
They really don't. We each have our own unique style or our own unique way of doing things, and to kind of elaborate off, because the question you asked O'Connor, to elaborate on that, we play off of each other. So there's ways that he may be asking a question and I'm like, ooh, that's pretty cool. So I'll end up using it or something. Everybody likes to do the knock on the wall twice or something like that. But we try to get creative. So, being a team, we're similar in a lot of ways, but we're also different. Excuse me. And we all have a piece of equipment that we like best. So I may use the DR60, Connor or Jordan might absolutely hate it, and Jordan uses dowsing rods. Me, absolutely not. I am just too stanky. So it is well rounded in that aspect, but I don't put stipulations on any of my team members and saying you must do it this way, do this type of equipment. No, not like that. It's supposed to be fun and enjoyable, and the more upbeat energy we have, that's when we find we get more activity.
Okay, so Jordan, what do you think makes a paranormal team successful over the long term?
Oh, that's a great question. I think there's a lot of things. Just to emphasize a little bit of what they both said is enjoying each other's company is a big one. We're not just doing this as a job, or we're not doing this for some selfish purpose. Yes, we all get something from it, but working as a team and collaborating, we just have a good time, and that really helps us all grow together and do a lot more together. I completely lost. I'm sorry, I forgot your question. I started rambling.
Successful team.
Yes.
You're good.
So, yeah, little edit there. I was like, oh no, I'm starting to ramble. But no, just really being able to enjoy each other's company and have fun together allows us to collaborate in other ways. And I think for us to have a successful team is that we do, even though we're all weird kids and we have similar backgrounds, we all come from very different walks of life and we have different experiences, and we're all able to bring that into the team together. And yeah, we bounce off each other, we work off each other. When someone's maybe stumbling, like I just was, if someone's stumbling, then someone else is there to pick up the slack. And then, we can really just be creative and individual, and then come together as a team, and it makes it really strong. I also think too, not even just talking about the team, but to the paranormal world and the paranormal realm as well. When we have a lot of fun, like Patty said, we start to get the spirits to have a lot of fun too. One thing with our group that we always, pride ourselves on is we're not ones to provoke ghosts. We don't try to like be nasty to them or get some, malevolent response or something of that sense. So we're having a good time. And this might sound crazy to some people, although this all might sound crazy to some people, but I actually think it eases the spirits as well too. If we're in there, we're having a good time, we start to get that more activity because I think they're starting to get more comfortable with us as well, and they're not seeing us as a threat or someone that's coming in to try to provoke them. Oftentimes when we're on investigation, we'll be goofing off and not paying attention to the spirits, and they'll be like, hello, we're here, where'd you go, are you paying attention to us now? So I think that really helps, enjoying each other's company, really wanting to work together as a team. Works really well too, all having our different opinions and experiences. We have some people on the team that are huge scaredy cats, which is
mainly the guys,
mainly the men, which is shocking because they are paranormal investigators. And then we have other people, the women typically, that are very brave, so that helps a lot too. So if the women, are like, hey, let's go down to the basement, the men are going to follow us. We can go in pairs there. But it makes it fun too. It makes it fun for our guests too to see the boys kind of cowering and shaking and us picking on them a little bit. So you just have to enjoy each other's company, respect each other's opinions, and come with different experiences, and that really just it really has made our team strong.
I think we're a bunch of goofballs, and
we are.
We do not do the drama. I know in the paranormal world, field, whatever you want to call it, there's a lot of drama. On our team, we're not like that.
We just like to have fun.
Yeah, we do. I mean, you never know what's going to come out of our mouths, and we're always posting
fannies.
Yes, or fannies. We're always posting like all our blooper moments and stuff because it's fun. We like to make fun of ourselves and have a good time. That's what it's about.
Nice. So, Connor, tell me,
Yes, sir.
do you prefer to enter a location with extensive background information or as very little information as possible?
So, for me personally, I'd like a little bit of background on the location, but nothing too in-depth. Like, I don't need to know names of individuals or anything. Just a brief overview of like, oh, this was built in 18 whatever. It was a lunatic asylum for X amount of years, and it became an orphanage or what have you. Little bits of history here and there, because while we're investigating, in the event we do come across something like a name comes through on one of our devices, we'll jot that down, go to the I'll call them the historian of the location, and say, does this name ring a bell? Do you know of anyone by the, my God, the jailer was John Smith, and he ran this place with an iron fist, and it's little things like that. It's kind of like putting a puzzle together, like you can kind of see the outside of the box, but you're not really grasping the full concept of things until you go in and actually look for yourself.
Okay, good answer. So Patty, when you first arrive at a haunted location, what is the first thing you're paying attention to?
Oh, that's a good one. Because I'm all over the place. Actually, I think what we do is we walk the location to see where there's some areas that may not be so safe. Just for the simple fact is some of these locations we do go in, they are abandoned, and they don't have no electricity, so we're in the dark. So we want to make sure that when we have that little bit of sunlight out, we walk in, we want to make sure what areas are safe, what are not, because we're bringing outside guests into our event, and we don't want anybody to get harmed or hurt. We want them to have a great experience. So that's probably the first thing that I look for, and that has nothing to even do with, the history or the paranormal side of the ghosts, stuff like that.
It's important, though.
Yeah, it's very important.
Because you don't want to add any more residents to the place.
More spirits.
That is absolutely valid. Absolutely. So, well, let's go, Jordan. How important is it to rule out natural explanations before you consider something to be paranormal?
Oh my gosh, I think it's so important. I think it's one of the most important things to me as an individual and to our team. Because for us too, though, we talk about, oh, it's fun and we're having a good time, we also do, have a passion for this. And we really want to, whether we're investigating on our own as a team or with guests or not, we ourselves, and for our guests, we don't want anyone to go home and get so excited and think that they have this paranormal evidence and it really not be true. We don't want you to think that you have this beautiful, wonderful picture of an orb and it's just some sort of bug, because you'll be showing your friends and they're like, wait, let me zoom in, are those wings there? But we really, for ourselves and for our guests, we want that. Me on an individual level, I love the paranormal world. I love weird things, but I also have a very scientific and realistic approach on things. And I'm a person who can't believe something unless I see it with my own eyes, hear it with my own ears. I want that concrete evidence. And I would never want to say something with my chest and so confidently that I didn't believe in. And I would never, we're not in the business of fooling everyone. I say, we've had skeptics come on our investigations with us and they're like, where's the tripwire? Where's the buttons? And I say, for me, I don't care what you believe in. You believe in whatever you want. I believe in what I want, but I am here to experience the paranormal world. I would love for you to experience it as well. And I'm just not here to fool anyone. It's not a haunted house. It's not a movie. We are just very passionate in the paranormal world, and we want it to be real. We love experiencing ourselves. We want to share it with others. But if we don't get anything, we don't get anything. We preface that with everyone. You can't predict when you're going to get any type of evidence or activity, and you can't force it. I'm sure there's people out there that do that.
Zach Baggins.
But yeah, I mean, we love this so much, and we're so proud in what we do in our team and just everything that comes with Whispering Souls and Paranormal, that we want to share it with people because we love it and because it's real. And it's just, so anyway, going back to the original question, as I ramble a lot, it's super important. We have a lot of different ways to ensure, or at least ensure to the best of our ability that something is legitimate. Like I said about the example with the orbs, making sure that you're zooming in. We always say, take that photo home, put it on a bigger screen, put it on a computer, really zoom in, and there's ways that you can tell that if it's a legitimate orb potentially, or if it's just some dust or something of that nature. So when someone comes on investigations with us, or even if it's just us, it's the team coming together and debunking every possible way that we can do that. Like, we've seen doors slam open and we're like, okay, where's the breeze? Is there an open window this way? We're always going to do that first, because even for ourselves, if something incredible happens, some incredible activity, we want to know it's real too, so that I can go home and be like, oh my gosh, this is what we had today and it was amazing. So yeah, that's very important to us as a team, and on an individual level, we all feel that way.
Nice. I agree 100%. So, Patty.
Yes.
Have you ever investigated a case that turned out to have a completely natural explanation?
Yes, we have.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to say every place that we have gone, but there is definitely sources there that it's natural, it's not paranormal, and that goes back with what Jordan has said. We make sure that if our equipment goes off, we are going to try to figure out what is making that going off. We never 100% say that it's paranormal. And, some people get very frustrated with us, and we don't want anybody to look stupid. We want to make sure that it's legit and it isn't any type of natural causes. I mean, we tell them all the time, put your phones on airplane mode. That's going to trigger that K2 in your hand. And their K2's going like crazy. And I'm like, sorry, it's your phone. And they're like, no, it's not. And they want to argue with us. And I'm like, well, we just kind of pull them to the side and we explain to them how the K2 works, why the phone's triggering it that way. So we always give an explanation, whether it's a natural cause that's tripping our equipment, or something that we hear or see with our eyes, or if it's actual paranormal. We always make sure we have a thorough explanation of what is taking place, so our guests can take that away back home with them.
Nice. That's absolutely so important. Absolutely. So, Connor, let's start with you. I'll ask each of you this question. So, let's talk about equipment. What piece of equipment do you rely on the most when you go into an investigation?
So I like to use two main pieces of equipment. One is called the dead bell, which is, those old school, like hit the bell for assistance ordeals. It's set up so that once an entity would cross through a threshold, it'll ding the bell. Really good for like yes and no sort of response. That's my thing. I'd like the yes and no, like short answers. So my other one is with what's called mag lights, just the flashlights that you can screw on and off. And what you do is you get it to the point where it's just about to trip. You set it on a flat, stable surface, and you same sort of deal. Left one is for yes, right one is for no. And I feel with those two specific, or at least the mag lights in particular, like there's not really a lot that I can dispute on that. I'm like, I don't know why this is going on and off. I mean, we've had some legitimate conversations with entities before, clearly answering yes or no one way or the other. But those are my personal favorites.
All right, terrific. Jordan.
Very simple guy here.
Yes.
Aren't we all?
Oh yeah, I did forget about the SLS camera. That's another great one.
SLS. All right. So, Jordan, your favorite piece of equipment?
Ooh, favorite piece. Okay. I'll make it quick, but I do also have two.
Okay. Go ahead. No, take your time.
First one is, as Patty said, the dowsing rods. This one's very mixed opinion of people who really like it or really don't like it. I always tell people I love dowsing rods because one, it's a very inexpensive piece of equipment, which is nice for people starting out, or for more people if they want to start getting into it. But the reason I really like dowsing rods is because it feels more personal to me. I love the advancement in technology that we've had in the paranormal world. I love that there's so many pieces of equipment that allows us to get more activity. But the dowsing rods, to me, it's no technology. There's these two rods you hold in your hands. And when I've used dowsing rods and have had successful sessions, I always tell people I can feel the energy running through me. It's so much more personal because, oftentimes when we're using dowsing rods, we'll hold them straight and say yes or no questions. Yes, cross the rods. No, you can separate them. And we always I allow the spirits to use my energy. I say, you can use my energy if you need it to help you. And I really feel that energy through me when the rods are working. You get the goosebumps and the hair standing up, and you can just feel it around you. And I love how personal that is, because for me, I feel like I am a hands-on learner and doer, and I like to feel that there's something there with me, as much as I also love the phantasma boxes and all these things that you can get ghost tube on your phone and they can speak to you. That's always fun, and I do think there's legitimacy to those pieces of equipment as well. I just love being able to really interact with the spirits myself. The other one I'll say is the DR60. It is such a gold token in the paranormal world, and it's just a recorder that allows it skips all the dead silence, all the dead noise, so you can get real-time feedback on if you're getting responses. You can use a regular tape recorder, but then you have to sit there with all the dead time in between. It takes a little bit longer, so I like that immediate that I know I've had laughed. I was going to say, because though I love this piece of equipment that's thousands of dollars, I did accidentally step on it in the last investigation we were at. And I was walking through and I heard a crunch, and she said, "You stepped on the DR60." And then when we played it back, you could hear the crunch also on the recorder. And I was like, oh my goodness, I just stepped on $3,000 piece of equipment. But yeah, we got to hear me stepping on a really quickly and in real time. But yeah, I think
pretty quickly.
That one was debunked. It was my foot, not a spirit.
Wow.
But those are my two, I think I'd say.
And I'm putting that in my will to give it to her since it's broken.
I told her, I said, please put that on the will. It's too expensive for me, but I love it. So that's going to me, even if it's a little bit messed up from when I stepped on.
All right, so beyond the broken DR60.
Yes.
Patty, what is your favorite piece of not crunched, not stepped on equipment?
Not yet.
Of course, I use the DR60, which we're not going to go into details, but I also use the Phasma box. And it's like a spirit box. People like to dispute with me because it's a computer program, but I'm not connected to Wi-Fi or anything of the sort. It's a spirit box. It only scans through 5 radio frequencies. What I like about it is you can turn off that annoying sound, and it's real time. So when we're holding these events, the public wants, right now, evidence to happen. And of course, we can't make that happen, but they don't want to sit there for 10, 15 minutes while we record and then play back an EVP session and listening to all this dead time. So with the Phasma box, it's real time. They can hear it the answers after they ask a question. It's one of my favorites, and we've had a lot of intelligent answers with it, a lot of success. So, yeah.
Okay. So, Patty, when reviewing evidence, what makes you stop and say, whoa, I need to take a second look at that?
So whether it's visual or audio, I will play it back a few times. Like Jordan said earlier, we always put something up on a bigger screen to really see it. And if we can't decipher, our deal is just throw it out. If you can't make something out, don't sit there and rack your brain and say, oh, I think I heard them say yes. I think I saw this in there. If we can't make it out, we just throw it out and don't waste any time. We want to make sure that visually or even audio type of recordings that we have are very clear and concise. So when we go ahead, we do other presentations and we play this stuff back or show this stuff, that people aren't questioning our evidence. They're not like, what? Well, I don't hear what you hear. I don't see what you see. So we just make sure that it's 100% clear and legit.
So do all three of you generally agree when it comes to evaluating evidence?
9 out of 10 times.
For the most part.
There have been a couple of occasions where they might hear something and I'm like, I don't really, I'm not making that out, or somebody might see a shadow go by and I was looking the other direction, sort of deal. But I'd say majority of the time we pretty much agree when we have evidence,
Yeah, the recordings are the hardest because sometimes we know we hear something, but we hear completely different things. So then we'll go and find someone else and get their opinion. Don't tell them what we think. Yeah. What do you think that this says? And then I feel like we're usually right, but that's just my opinion, and he's usually the wrong one.
I have horrible hearing, so holding that little mic up to my ear.
I think with me, like when I'm playing something back and I hear something, I will play it back for someone on the team and I'll say, I will never tell them what I hear. I want to hear what they hear, because sometimes that makes their brains actually hear the word. So if I say no, they're like, oh yeah, I heard no. But if I don't tell them what I hear, then I want to see their response to the playback of evidence. So that's how we can determine if we're evaluating a piece that we agree upon it, if they say something that I am thinking and I heard.
Okay. So, Patty, what investigation has had the greatest impact on your entire team, if you had to pick one?
That's a tough question.
Yeah, because I know individually places that have impacted us separately, but as a team.
I will say too, like every location we might have different team members at, so it's hard to really have one solid experience. But for me, I would say when we went up to New York and we were at that Airbnb, the lady had reached out to Patty and said, hey, I've got this Airbnb in New York. We've had some unique experiences there as far as bed shaking or shadow figures, and when we went out and investigated that location, it was just myself, Jordan, Patty, and one of our other close friends, and it was wild. Like we had like EMF detectors going off upstairs. We were in the basement getting voices on the DR60. We had just so much activity, and it really, like, I took a step back. I was like, damn, like this is what I get to do, you know? Like that was kind of my like epiphany moment. Like, damn, this is really crazy.
Yeah, and I think there was an investigation that I always say is the most impactful on me, that Patty was sick and he was out of town, so neither of them were there. But we ended up having a guest who we ended up finding out that her young son passed away, and he actually ended up joining her on this investigation that she came with us for, Whispering Souls. And, you know, we didn't know any of this ahead of time. They were actually there for a bachelorette party. It was really fun. But she ended up having her young son come. And that's another thing as well. You know, we might take someone to a haunted location, and the spirit that starts interacting with us and give us activity is nothing to do with the location. So at this experience that I was talking about, it was actually her young son who followed her, and she's never been on an investigation before, but because we had equipment, she was able to actually connect with the son, and it was so beautiful. Like, half of the night she spent connecting with her son. Everyone in the room had goosebumps at some point, were tearing up, and it was just so beautiful. And I walked away from that investigation like, wow, this is more than just, I'm getting goosebumps now, this is more than just fun, and this is more than just, you know, allowing other people to experience what we experience and teaching them. But this just changed this woman's entire life. Just being able to communicate with her young child who passed away, and we were able to be a part of that. I was like, what did I do to deserve to be a part of this really special moment? And I walked away with like, wow, you know, I was a part of this special moment that changed someone's life. And that's a little bit more than just being an investigator, which was really cool. So that's definitely the one that I always say is the most impactful for me.
Nice. Have you ever, all three at the same time, experienced some unexplained event?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All the time.
Okay. What happened there?
I always I'd go back to the New York trip, man, because we were in the basement of this house on the DR60, and Jordan, we were asking a bunch of questions, you know, like, what's your name, yada, yada, yada. But then Jordan asked, how many spirits are in this home? And clear as day on that recording, you could hear there are 5.
Yeah.
And we all heard it. I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
I can feel that my hairs on the back of my spine sticking up. But that was wild. That was something I could never explain.
What is the most unusual thing you've experienced personally when you were investigating? Jordan, we'll start with you.
Oh, on the spot. I don't have a second to think about it. No. Unusual. There's a lot of unusual things that happen. One that I always thought was really cool was the first time that I saw my first shadow figure, because I was always jealous. Other people always saw shadow figures and I always missed it. And there was one time when we were at Hillview Manor, and we were just getting up to this specific hallway, and I looked down, and 3 doors down on the right, I saw a shadow figure pop out and look at me and then go away. And I was like, and I just whispered to the person next to me who was looking down that hallway, and she saw the same thing. I was, oh my gosh, I didn't tell anyone else. Once we got up there, someone was telling us, oh, the last time we were there, we saw a shadow figure and it was popping out of the room. And I turned real fast and I said, was it on the left? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, how many doors down? And they said 3. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was so validating to me. It was my first shadow figure. I was so excited. And I was like, yes. I was like, I didn't tell anyone. They had the same experience before. I did think it was weird that they saw the exact same thing when they were there a long time ago. Sorry, just elbowed to Patty. I'm a hand talker. And I was like, that's so weird, but it was also so cool. So I love that one.
Nice.
I would have to say mine was at Hotel Conneaut. Was in the employee hallway, which was back in the earlier years. That's where the employees would stay overnight. So anybody that would come to the Hotel Conneaut to stay, you were never allowed back there. That's only employees. So we were doing an investigation there. I was explaining to my group the little bit of history, what type of paranormal activity happens, and in the midst of me explaining all this, there's this little girl behind me giggling. Now, there's no kids in the group, and I probably had maybe about 6 people standing in front of me, and I'm like, did you just hear that? And the kid next to me did hear a little girl. So everybody dispersed. They went and did their investigation, and then I'm walking. It's like this little girl's still behind me giggling. I could hear it plain as day with my ears, and that's something that you don't have happen. You know, you catch voices on your recorder, you don't hear that AVP, you don't get to hear it with your ears. And to keep hearing that for at least, I'd say it was about 7 minutes, this little girl was following me around that I could not see, but I could hear. So it was a little creepy, and I couldn't explain where it was coming from, but she was directly behind me, and I kept doing one of these things and nothing. Yeah.
Wow, that is incredible. Connor, you're up, buddy.
Yeah, I think for mine, I can't remember exactly where it was. It might have been Hillview, but when we were in what was called like a children's room, it had a bunch of toys all over the place.
Oh, that was Trans-Allegheny.
Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. They had a children's room. Had like music boxes all over the place, and we were just doing a normal session. I think you were doing dowsing rods or something, and all of a sudden we just hear ding, 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 and we look over, and one music box, ever so slightly, the ballerina's turning and hitting those notes, and I'm like, that's creepy as hell. So
and we told it, we're like, okay, stop, and it stopped, and we had this all on camera, and they're like, okay, start again, and it would start again, and I was like, whoa, like, it's not equipment, it's something that's just existing, and we're like, wow.
That was wild. Yeah, that creeped me out. And then there was the other time, I don't think I was unsettled. I think the ghost was annoyed because I had really bad gas.
Oh my
God. I kept farting really loud,
Nice.
and we were using the dead bell, and Jordan goes, ring the bell if you want Connor to stop farting. Bam! Just instantly hits the bell. So
he jumps back, he's like, oh my God, I need to get out of here.
yeah, that creeped me out too.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So, wow. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to discuss skepticism, haunted locations, and more with Patty, Jordan, and Connor. We have so much more to talk about. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
If you think the paranormal is just stories, think again. The Unholy podcast, hosted by Doug Owen, dives into real experiences from people who've come face to face with the unexplained. Each week, Doug pulls back the veil between this world and the next, sharing first-hand accounts of hauntings, spiritual encounters, and events that defy logic. These aren't fictional tales. These are real people, real experiences, and real consequences. Featuring interviews with paranormal investigators, witnesses, and those who've lived through it. The Unholy podcast explores what happens when the unknown becomes personal. Listen now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Pocket Casts, Castbox, unexplainеdradio.com, paranormalukradio.com, and more. Visit author DougOwen.com, the home of the Unholy podcast, because sometimes the silence is the most terrifying thing. The experiences discussed on the Unholy podcast are not fiction. They are drawn from lived events. Doug's first-hand account of a sustained haunting as documented in the book, The Unholy Silence. The book details the investigation, the psychological toll, and the impact on his family, offering a deeper look at what happens when paranormal events move beyond theory and into daily life. The Unholy Silence is available worldwide through Amazon in paperback, hardback, and ebook formats. For those who want the full account, the story begins there. Visit author DougOwen.com for more. When the world goes quiet, the unknown speaks. Welcome to Unexplained Radio, your home for the paranormal, the mysterious, and the unexplained. From chilling ghost encounters to cryptids, UFOs, and the darkest corners of human experience. This is where real stories come alive, featuring a powerful lineup of shows, including the Unholy podcast, bringing you raw, first-hand accounts from the edge of reality. Listen now at unexplained.radio.com, Unexplained Radio, where the truth is never what it seems, and the silence is never empty.
Millions of people turn to search engines like Google asking, "What is life insurance?" But they are ignoring the most terrifying phantom of all, the dark entity of financial ruin. When you vanish into the spirit world, do not leave your family to be haunted by bills they simply cannot pay. Banish the uncertainty, contact a professional, secure their future with the Don M. Adams Insurance Agency. Serving Idaho, Oregon, and Washington, call 208-955-6370. That's 208-955-6370.
All right, welcome back to the Unholy podcast. I'm your host, Doug Owen. Before we continue tonight's conversation, I want to take a moment to tell you about my memoir, The Unholy Silence. For over a year, my family and I experienced unexplained events, terrifying. Inside the Idaho home, what began as a subtle disturbance evolved into something that would challenge our beliefs, test our faith, and forever change our lives. The Unholy Silence is a true account of those experiences. You can learn more, order a copy, follow my upcoming appearances and projects by visiting authorDougOwen.com. So now let's return to tonight's guests, Patty, Jordan, Connor from Whispering Souls, Paranormal Investigations. So let me ask you guys, how important is skepticism?
Very important. I think we're probably the biggest skeptics there are, because when something happens that everybody's like, "Oh, that was paranormal," we're like, no, let's take a step back. We definitely, anytime anything happens, a door slams, I don't know, any noise, anything in the proximity where we're standing, we definitely try to debunk it. And we don't jump every single time you hear a noise that's paranormal. When we can't explain it, then we're like, okay, there's a possibility that could be paranormal, but we still will not put a 100% paranormal stamp on something.
Oh yeah, and I think it's healthy to have skepticism because, of course, at the end of the day, like we always say, we're not experts. We really can't. We don't know everything. We can't definitively prove anything ever in the universe. That's a whole other conversation. But it's healthy to have that skepticism. I think there are kind of like healthy ways to have skepticism where you're just like generally curious. You want to have legitimacy, but you're also not, a total jerk either. We've had people who are skeptics, like I said, come on investigations with us, and they'll just be kind of like rude and just trying to disprove everything we say and just like be so combative. And, that's just like not productive, I think. I think that's counterproductive. I think to have that skepticism, question everything you have, makes you a better investigator because you're smarter, you're learning, you're discovering, and you're really just, experiencing it all. So I think you need to be skeptic. I think you don't have to be a jerk. If you don't want to believe, if you're in denial, that is totally fine. That's your opinion. But I think it opens your eyes and your world to a lot more if you're skeptic with an open mind. And I think that's how we all are.
Yeah.
I think it makes it more exciting, too, because if you go into it thinking every little thing, every knock that you hear is a ghost, it kind of takes away from the experience. And I like I said earlier, I just chase that high of, it's like golf, man. You get that one good putt, that one good chip, you get that one piece of evidence that you can distinctively say, I have no clue what this is or how this happened. And that's what keeps me going. And it's being proved wrong constantly. Like I like the feeling that I can't explain this. I believe that this could be something normal, and it gets you excited.
I agree. So, do television shows help the paranormal field or create unrealistic expectations?
I think a little bit of both. But more unrealistic, because we've had people come on our events and they're like, yeah, I want to be thrown up against the wall. And I'm like, that is not going to happen. And they're like, okay, well then I want to get possessed. And I'm not saying that, there's not a chance that someone can get possessed, but that is not what's going to happen when you come to our events. And we are upfront as soon as the guests just step on the location. We let them know. Jordan has said it a few times. We are not experts. Nobody is an expert until you die. Once we die, then we'll know what's happening in that realm. But yeah, some of the stuff, people don't realize that they're spending maybe a week in a location and they're taping for hours in and hours out and they're editing, and it's for TV, it's for entertainment purposes. So yes, you're going to see that, oh my God, I think I'm getting possessed, I'm feeling lightheaded type, but that does not happen. And, some people are just in this state of ignorance that they're just like, what are you talking about? That's not going to happen. That's on TV. That's real. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I think it's great that the television shows obviously are there for the entertainment purposes, and it gets people interested in it too.
Yeah.
We love it so much. We're so passionate about it. We love to share that passion and all of that with other people, but the realistic expectations are definitely skewed. We do paranormal investigations year round. We'll see an uptick, of course, in the fall, around spooky season, around Halloween, and that's where you might get some more of those ones that are just looking for fun. They're, thinking it's gonna be more like a haunted house experience, which is totally fine too. But that's why, when you come on our investigations, we're very upfront and honest, and we'll tell you, sometimes if we don't get investigations, we're still having a good time. You're still learning a lot, but we just didn't get anything this time. And we don't want to be Debbie Downers, but we like to set those real expectations and explain what it's really like too. We like to do that a little bit on our social media as well. Sometimes when we're not investigating, just have little aside things, explaining what it's really like. But yeah, I think it's great. Get people interested, have fun, watch it. But if you're coming on investigation, it's not going to be as crazy as the shows are, and that's okay too.
Yeah, Hollywood doesn't do a good job of portraying paranormal activity at most times. Ironically enough, the movie Paranormal Activity, maybe there's one or two instances I'm like, okay, I could see them, the door slightly closing, but like she said, you're not going to get picked up and choke slammed at these locations. And if you did, goddamn,
Right.
I would be thoroughly impressed.
And we're hoping we're recording it too.
Yeah, exactly.
No, absolutely. It's always when you don't have a recorder that some of the bizarre stuff happens, right? It's happened to me a number of times. But so before we move into the unholy fire, I'd like to ask each of you one final question. After everything you've experienced, investigated, and witnessed, what do you believe is the biggest unanswered mystery in the paranormal world?
Ooh. For me, I'll take this one first, I guess. For me, it's I guess, what happens after we die? Do we stay on this plane of existence in between worlds? Do we, some places we go, there are entities that are just stuck in a constant loop of things that they used to do, right? If you were an orderly, you might have some entity pushing a stretcher down the hallway repeatedly. It's what truly happens when we move on, in a sense. And like Patty said, we won't be experts on that until we move on. So it's just the little itch,
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit similar. I would say unexplained. I think a question that we get a lot, and of course we all have our own theories, right? But why do certain spirits maybe stick around and others don't, right? Or why do some communicate and some not? And we have our theories, Hollywood, of course, always says they have some unfinished business. And maybe that's true. I'm sure that's partially correct. And I think there's probably 1,000 answers. Maybe there's a reason they want to communicate. Maybe they're comfortable where they are. Who knows? But that's something unexplained that I'd love to know the answers to as well. And I think we get a lot of questions about that is, why do some stick around? Why are some here? Why are we able connect with some, and of course there has to be so many out there that don't. Why is that?
So I guess for me, we know by science that energy can't die. Okay, so our souls is energy. Our soul is living on. So for me, what is the capability when my soul rips from my body and it's in this other realm? What capabilities does my soul have? Is it going to go on like how I am right now? I go about my every day. I go to work, I come home, do whatever I have to do. What is my soul actually doing in this realm? Is it living the same life as when I'm here on Earth?
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, it is time. The unholy fire. Okay, guys, you know the rules. One word answers only. First word that comes to mind. No explanations. Are you ready?
All right.
We're gonna go. Patty, Jordan, Connor. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
All
Yep.
right. Ghosts.
Scared. Cool.
Real.
Nice. Demons.
Evil. Unrealistic.
Fake.
Bigfoot.
Untrue.
Big balls.
Potentially.
Okay, perfect. That's good.
Like, we're saying potentially.
Nope,
Really?
that's a great explanation. Now, shadow person.
Shocking.
Cool again. God.
Terrifying.
All right. EVP.
Awesome.
Interesting.
Ouija board.
Communication.
Love.
Toy.
Cemetery.
Cool.
Home.
Gothic.
Medium.
Unsure.
Uncertain.
Skeptical.
Okay. Alien.
Cool.
Everywhere.
Real.
Okay. Protection.
Definitely.
Unnecessary.
I was going to say unnecessary.
Okay. Fear.
None.
Exciting.
Titillating.
What? You never said that word in your life.
I didn't want to repeat the word again. I had to think of a synonym.
Afterlife.
I'm dumbstruck.
All right.
Uncertain.
Unknown.
You want to give it one more shot?
I'm blank.
Okay. All right. No afterlife. No afterlife for you. Okay. I get it. No. All right. Haunted doll.
Creepy.
Want.
Annabelle.
Okay. Yep. Exorcism.
First word coming in.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Exorcism.
Neat.
Fake.
Unbelievable.
Evidence.
Cool.
Exciting.
Real.
Truth.
This is not working. Awesome.
Important.
I don't know why.
Thank
I
you.
just think you said truth. I said lies. Yeah.
Okay. Nope. That's fair. First word that pops in.
This is a hard game.
It is. It is a very hard game. And the last word is unholy.
Creepy.
Doug.
Confessions. Just because it's from an Avenged Sevenfold song.
You're
Nope,
not supposed
I get it. Nope. Absolutely.
Not
Nope. I know it. I hear you. So, Patty, Jordan, Connor, thank you guys for coming on the show tonight. It's been fascinating, and I appreciate you guys sharing all of your experiences. And, the perspectives that our listeners are going to gain from you, it's amazing. So, for everybody listening, be sure to follow Whispering Souls Paranormal Investigations. Keep up with their latest projects, latest investigations. So, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
It's my pleasure. And for everybody watching, for everybody listening, as I always say, thank you guys for coming to the show, for showing up. And until next time, stay safe, be aware, and beware, because sometimes the silence is the most terrifying thing.
You've just heard another chilling chapter of the Unholy podcast, hosted by Doug Owen, author, investigator, and witness to the things most fear to name. For more real stories, cursed objects, and exclusive content, step deeper into the dark at authorDougOwen.com. Subscribe, share, and remember, some silences aren't empty, they're waiting.